Hello. Hi. Elaine Marlaco Settleson here with Astrology Mojo. Want to help you get your mojo back. And you know, when I talk about things, it's not just about astrology, right? It's about your life. It's about consciousness. It's about awareness. It's about who you are really. Who are you really? Do you know? Do you know who you are? If you don't, then I won't. Although I pick those things up on occasion in readings. So I'm just organizing all my stuff on my desk. As we are going to head into the realm of karma today and past lives and what the possibilities are for you. And so come say hello to me. Today is the week. Well, we're in a week now with the full moon that's going to occur in the sign of Taurus. It's going to conjunct Uranus. And when it does, it's going to have this, some kind of a powerful effect on some people, and other people will experience a resetting, like, buckling the seatbelt, like, yeah, that's right. That's what it is. That's what it is for me. So, you've heard the truth can set you free. And your truth can really throw you for a loop. Okay, so if you're not familiar with me, what I say in astrology regarding the planets is that the planets don't do anything to you. That we live in a cooperation with the cosmos, so that when the planets make a move, you feel it. When you make a move, the planets reflect that by way of aspects and angles in astrology. So essentially, astrology tells you what time it is. That's all. It doesn't make you do things. The planets are not conscious of their actions. But you feel everything. You feel everything. And when I talk about karma and past lives, sometimes you're feeling that too. And you're thinking you have to do something, or you're thinking you're stuck and you can't do something. You can't change it. So let me just back up. And hey, hi Christine, hard time sleeping? Sometimes I will check it out for yourself, research it, but sometimes I will take Sirius Relaxer. It's an herb, liquid tincture, or I will do magnesium, definitely magnesium. So, that feeling of forgetting to do something. Yeah. Life in a retrograde. And, a retrograde is a perfect segue. We're in a Mercury in retrograde. We're also in a Neptune retrograde, a Mars retrograde, a Uranus retrograde. So we've got like a lot of retrogrades right now. And, if you know me, I'm always saying retrogrades just are a reminder to step back. That's all. And a lot of times what we do is we will adhere or attach to a belief, and that becomes our framework. That's what a belief is. What you think all the time becomes a belief. And your perception, how you think it applies to you and what you want to do about it, and what you think you can do about it. And sometimes you think you can't do anything about it. And so when I talk about, I met a woman once, a long time ago. I knew her family. She had 3 kids. And the third child, a more recent child, was from a different father. And I asked her one day when I took my kid over to play with her older kids. And I said, well, how's it going? And she said, well, and he was visiting. He was fixing something in the yard, and he was going to visit his daughter. And I said, well, how's it going? And she's like, well, what am I going to do? It's karmic. So I didn't say anything because this was a very opinionated woman, and I didn't know her that well. It was just like play date kind of thing a long time ago. And I thought, okay, wow. It is not. Karma does not mean that you are branded and enter a new life with the baggage still active. Because if that were true, everything that was ever said, done, or unsaid, or not done is out there and exists like particles of light. Just exists. That's called the Akashic Record. Okay. Now there's no reckoning. There's no, if you don't get it done, you're going to take it with you in your next life. Well, what you will take with you is who you are and your beliefs. That's what you take with you. And so every new life is a chance to reset and a chance to start over and a chance to be where you are, when you are, in the moment that you are, in as many moments as possible, because that is your I wish I had like a animated thing I could just show you. When you see like many images from different lifetimes, and they line up and then they suddenly are you now. Okay, you've been that. But it doesn't mean you have to stay that. It doesn't mean that that's the reason for your, someone robbed you, or that's the reason why someone hit your car, or that's the reason why. Who you are now is who you are now. And it's fun because we love stories. When I think about Gene Roddenberry, was a prolific individual and really understood a lot. And then the writers and the creators of the subsequent Star Trek stories fell into that same place where, if you remember Star Trek: The Next Generation, anybody? From the 80s. And they had a holodeck. And the holodeck could recreate, based on a person's memory and experience, the Akashic Record, could recreate a situation so that a person could train for battle or visit a beautiful mountain and a stream and go fishing, or they could have an affair with someone in a different era. Okay, so if you take all the pieces of every lifetime you ever existed and threw it into the holodeck, you could relive all your moments. Isn't that cool? Well, you do that anyway. When you attach to something and you say, well, I can't, what am I going to do? It's karmic. Well, there's lots you can do. For one, stop being so resistant to the fact that you can change right now. And nobody wants to change, and that's the thing. But yet, if you are not willing to make a transition and you're not willing to move forward, then nothing really changes. So that's a completely different category and a different grouping of people. That's not what this show is about. This is about you moving forward with your ultimate power. And you have so many ultimate powers. Let me just say hello. Hey, Galet's here. Feeling the veil getting thinner and thinner. Yeah. And then what comes up in that veil? What comes up for you in that veil? Deborah, Taurus moon, what's it going to be for Taurus peeps? Well, every Taurus peep is different. So what's it going to be for Taurus, sun, rising, and moon with this full moon? I'm sorry. I want to call it this, I was going to say the Halloween spooky moon, but it's not. But you see, I have my homage to Samhain right there behind me. Isn't that cool? It actually feels like I'm in that room. I had to composite a lot of this. So I actually added a corner. See that? I added that in Photoshop. So it looks like I'm in a room. That's so fun. That's the illusion. That's what I'm talking about. You can create an image in your mind, a belief in your mind and in your experience. And I'm not saying experiences aren't real. They are very real. I'm holding this stone right now. This is real. If I dropped it, it would make a sound. If I threw it at the window, it could crack or break the window. We live in a very real, tangible place called Earth. And what we are connected to that is the spiritual self, the sentient being that we are, that has experienced so many things. And so sometimes we see fragments in a dream, or we meet someone and we say, I must have known that person. I just feel like they're my brother or my sister or my ex-lover, or they must have been a grandmother. And you can have memories to support that. But what we like, Dean, what's it called? Cognitive dissonance? Is that what it's called? When you show evidence in the world of what is real.
Confirmation bias.
Confirmation bias. Thank you, Dean. He's flossing his teeth right now. Confirmation bias. It's when we need evidence to substantiate our beliefs. It's like you say, I know this person and I were in a past life together. It's our karma now to be together. That is not necessarily true. People of like energy will find one another, and we call them soul groups. Now, you may never meet all the people in the world who are in your soul group, but if you are willing to release that idea of it was that way, so now it has to be this way, then you can sweep away a lot of your BS. And we all have BS. It's what we believe that keeps us struggling. It's what we believe that keeps us against the wall, between a rock and an emotional hard place. It's what we believe that is no longer true for us. And so when you can let go of that, like if you say, oh, I can't do that. It's the not enoughs. I don't have this. I don't have that. And then we add to it. And plus I had a dream. I must have told this story before, but I remember right at the time that I met Dean, I had this vision, and I worked on myself for 6 months. I didn't date. I didn't go out. I meditated hours a day just to get really conscious about the moment I was in and then what came up for me. It was like being in my own little cave. And while I was doing that, I was putting out into the universe, I don't want to meet anybody else because they're all the repeats. So that's when it occurred to me that I must be the magnet for what's coming, because they keep showing up and they're the same. Different faces, different names, different occupations, but ultimately I don't get what I need. So I had to go in. I literally shut the door. I lived in a historical house and it had no doorbell, and I was grateful for that. There was a door knocker, but not many people would venture up a bunch of stairs through a fence to go to my front door. So I was grateful. It was like my little haven. And the dreams I had, the experiences I had, meeting ETs. I flew, literally. So it's like crazy, right? You'd think, what is she drinking? What is she drinking? Swiss Press decaf. Thank you. And so the conclusion that I realized, that I came to at that time, was I didn't believe that I was worthy enough at the time to attract someone who could give me what I needed. So I had to remove the defenses. Because when you have an experience where you get hurt, it's so natural. Everybody does it pretty much, right? When you get hurt, you think, oh, I'm never going to do that again. So you build a little wall energetically. And then you meet somebody else and you're like, yeah, okay, we're having fun, but I don't know. And then it goes on from there. And depending on who you are, you have a different experience. So, but at this time, I thought, okay, I am ready to rework my patterns, because if I change me in the moment I am feeling something resistant, negative, victim-like, or the not enoughs come up, I'm only going to recreate the past. So what I did was I stayed alone for 6 months. I had a couple of girlfriends. I'd go out, have lunch or something, but I wouldn't meet anybody new. And I was very, very determined. So determined that that was my focus. So, like that was my 10,000 hours from Outliers. Right. So then a friend of mine says, "Oh, do you want to give a reading to a friend of mine? He's going through a tough time." I was like, "Okay." Breakup. I was like, "Okay." So we never met. We did everything via answering machines. Yes, I'm that old. And but at the same time, I was going to this lunch counter at the health store in Montclair, New Jersey, and I would see a guy there. And I was very drawn to him, like, wow, like magnetically drawn. And I thought, I don't know, he's so good looking, very mysterious. He was an artist. Of course, he was an artist. Told me I had beautiful hands. I was like, oh, okay. What else do you want to tell me? Where do you want to go to tell me that? Anyway, I started having dreams of people I hadn't seen for years in my dream, grabbing me, telling me, don't go with this person. And that startled me because the first dream was like, oh, wow, is that some part of my subconscious saying, well, I'm just starting to come out of my 6-month cave and some part of me is still feeling, scared, defensive, very protective, of my very sweet, sincere heart. I don't know. And then I had another dream. A cousin of mine came to me and said, don't go with this person. And then I had a dream that this guy was dressed in a gorilla suit and, blips. And then I had a dream that a former, kind of a spiritual teacher of mine, was sitting at a table throwing cards. She was going to give a reading to people. It was like a basement. And I saw it as my basement. And so I'm walking through the room and she looked at me and she said, okay, I already did the spread. You know what's going to happen, right? If you go through that door and meet him on the other side. Okay, now, so it's like 3 things in a row in 1 week. And I wake up in a sweat thinking, who is this guy? Is he going to murder me? Like, what the heck is happening? So I thought, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be conscious with my actions in as many moments as possible so that I can see what's coming up for me, what I wanted to attach to, what I wanted to project on to this guy, and we'll see what happens. Now, in the meantime, I set up a reading and with Dean, and I don't know him. I've never met him. And I am lying on the couch a week before I meet him, and I'm doing a meditation. And I actually fell asleep. And as I fell asleep, I saw a blip of a man, blue eyes, light brown curly hair, a square jaw, white t-shirt, light blue jeans, and sneakers. And that was it. And I went to sleep. And then I forgot about it. And then the day comes for my reading with Dean. And here he comes. He knocks on the door. I open it. Okay, I had resisted getting ready. First of all, my hair is still wet. And mostly wet. And he came to the door. And I was like, hi. And I had this poof feeling. It was like light. Poof, stardust or something. And I thought, oh, okay. Hey, come on in. Nice to meet you. Listen, I'm just going to go finish drying my hair. Okay, this was a client at the bathroom door open, which is downstairs. I'm drying my hair. He's looking at my books. And it never occurred to me that this is not what you do with a client. I've never done that with a client before. Ever. It's so professional. And so it was so natural for us to hang out together. So we have the session. He really loved it. And I trance-channeled at the time. So I came out of it and he said, oh my gosh, you said this, this, and this. And I had a little tape recording. So then he said, would you like to go out to the lunch counter where everybody hung out? And I was like, sure. And we can meet our other friend who introduced us. And I was like, yeah, great. So we go and I sit down and Dean is to my left. And then to my right, this other guy, the other guy comes in and he sits down with a sketch pad. He's like, hi, Elaine. I was like, hey, how are you? Wow, nice to see you. And Dean's talking to our other friend and whatever, and I order up my bean burger or whatever it was. And here I am, and suddenly it hit me like poof, right in the head. And I lean back, and I look at Dean, who's light brown curly hair. He's bald now, but light brown curly hair, blue eyes, square jaw, light white t-shirt, light blue jeans and sneakers. Then I look at the other guy. Same. Blue eyes, square jaw, white t-shirt, light blue jeans, sneakers. And I was like, oh my God, I get it. Thank you. I'm so grateful for being present in the moment. There's my past and there's my future. So, Dean, what's the next trip you're going on? Tell me about it. And that was it. And I left the past behind. So, would I call that a karmic moment? Maybe. You know, dharma is the path. Karma is the action on the path. Do you understand? Everything is karmic. Everything is karmic. So, was this guy over here that I said no and goodbye to, and I'd been given messages by my psyche, my higher self, other people on the plane of existence that saw what I was attempting to do. Did I ignore that? Did I see it as past life? It didn't matter. It was the present moment that I was in, enacting a transition for my betterment and my future. Does that make sense? I just want to check in and say hello to everybody. Yes, we always have free will to choose. We always, Christine says, free will, right? So fate is where you think this is what's supposed to happen. Well, that's what you tell yourself. Free will is what you choose to happen, but it doesn't mean that I never met these people in other lifetimes. And, science will tell you today that no one has a perfect memory. No one. And that holds true for Akashic records as well. The energy of the essence of the issue is always present until you harmonize it. But the details, just getting back to Star Trek, I'm such a Trekkie. I used to love in Next Generation when there'd be an issue, a crime or something would happen, and then they would ask the computer to replay, to calculate the most probability of the conversation that nobody else got to hear based on the outcome. That's the same as the Akashic record. You look at, so the computer, consciousness that exists where everything is floating around, every thought, action, inaction, deed, feeling, emotion, everything exists. It's like telling the jury will disregard that last statement. Well, I can if it's out there, so I'm feeling it. But to attach it to a specific, this is when we met in Russia, 2,000 years ago. This is what we did. This is who we are now. And this is why I have to follow this path. It doesn't always work that way. So you want to be looser and more flexible. Now, how does that tie into this full moon? Hang on, I'll tell you. Okay. Hey, Gallet, your story gave me goosebumps. Thanks for sharing such insight. You're welcome. And isn't that such an amazing experience to have an awareness in the moment of what someone is to you? I had met another person prior to meeting Dean on a spiritual journey. I was on a quest. And I met this person, light brown curly hair, blue eyes, square jaw. Yeah, right? And what rolled through me, these feelings with this person, we didn't do anything except talk. And I said, I have to tell you, you feel like you've been my brother, my father, my lover, my sister, my grandfather, my coworker, like the priests. You feel like everything. And that's when he said to me, that's what a monadic structure is. And it blew me away. Monadic structure we can talk about another time. But everyone has at least 11 in this dimension. We're not going to go there now. So I met my monad, and it's not often that you meet them here on Earth, or you can, but what about the other 10? Well, I've met all of them as well in different parts of the galaxy. And so, anyway, so when I met this guy, my monad, and he said, and it's the same, it's the spark that is emitted the moment of awareness. There's 12 of them that come out all at once. Anyway, so when I met him and I told him all this stuff, he goes, yes, me too. And he was married. And he said, well, perhaps you can surround yourself with the energy of what I feel like. And then soon after I met Dean. But Dean was the earthly version. So I was not keen to project, a thing onto the other guy. Because I knew this was not to say it wasn't real, it was very real, but it was a mirror to the progress and that I was attaining. Because my whole goal is to expand into consciousness in as many moments as possible and to own it. And you know what happens a lot of times when we shrivel up and we hide because we think, oh, somebody might say, oh no, you were wrong, or you did something and it accidentally caused not so much harm, not like 7 pounds with Will Smith, but where it might have caused a discomfort for someone, or you gave misinformation, then you feel really bad because you're so kind and conscious and you feel so bad and you don't want to admit it. And then when you do, you're just waiting for repercussion and you're waiting for the retaliation, or you're waiting to be shown as a fraud because some part of you thinks that you're, oh, I never shut up my mouth. Why did I, and that's why a lot of people have, who come to me and will say, I really want this thing, but I'm afraid. I really want this thing, but I'm scared. What if I go public and I cause harm, or somebody tries to harm me? What if that happens? Everywhere you go, wherever you are, you take everything with you. So in the moment that you're feeling something, here comes the full moon information, conjunct Uranus in Taurus. Anytime you feel something, this week especially, of this, if you're listening to this in a replay on YouTube or on Facebook, just understand that you have the ability to take this information and apply it to everyday life. So it's not just about the full moon that conjuncts Uranus, okay? So the full moon in Taurus on Halloween, Samhain, is an opportunity this whole week. Today is Thursday, the 29th. So let's go through next Tuesday, okay? This energy. To be as present as possible with your feelings and your emotions, and then make sure you are nurtured and nourished. You have to be hydrated. You have a biology to take care of. You're eating well. You're not overindulging in too much sugar. I make candy with monk fruit. It is, like yesterday, we're eating the fudge that I made. Oh my gosh, it was, my husband's like, you gotta package it. Like the people I know, and some of them are naturopathic doctors, are like, okay, if you sell it, I will buy it. Just go to the store. I'm like, it's fun and I like to give it away. But I'm not deprived of sweets. And I balanced my blood sugar because of it. I have diabetes in my family. So I altered that reality and made a new one. So there's no deprivation, right? So you want to look at who you are in the moment, what your body needs. Number one, are you tired? You didn't sleep well. Christine said, I didn't sleep very well last night. So that can affect you, your thoughts, that can affect your moods, right? Food is mood. Green keeps you clean. Stay hydrated. And then once you take care of the biology, then you're looking at, oh my gosh, I just am so excited about fill in the blank. Because the more you get excited about fill in the blank, it helps you to get past the struggle and the issues and the other issues and the other subjects and topics in your life. And you're like, well, how does being happy doing a crossword puzzle and chewing gum help me with my financial issue or my relationship issue or my health issue? How does that work? Okay, and that's this whole week. The moment you feel it, it's going to be I want to say the word voluminous. I don't know why. It's going to be, for some people, an electric shock to the system. Like, no, I don't want to wake up. I don't want to let go of resistance. But for other people who are listening to this, who are willing, ready, able, conscious, present in as many moments as possible, what you're going to experience is the aha. Oh, I know why I just got defensive. Oh my gosh. Wow. Can I share that? Let me share that with you. Or I see where they're coming from and I keep engaging them. Oh, because I want to be right. Oh, whoops. But you catch it. You catch it and you go, oh, I got it. I got it. I see. So the door that opens wide because of it this week is like a portal to another dimension for some people. So if you're look at what the issues have been. The negative, can't get past. You keep doing the same thing. So stop, back up, do something that makes you happy, really happy. Doesn't have to cost a lot of money. Do something that gives you a fulfillment and that sense of, I'm so happy to be alive. Okay, the difference between gratitude and relief. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. So once you do that, what's the issue? You keep banging on the door, nothing happens. So stop, pull back, take a breath. I'm going to do this thing that makes me so happy. Whatever, put up Christmas lights. We call them cafe lights. They're all throughout the house. And as soon as they get plugged in, my heart opens. We don't have Christmas lights outside. We just have them inside. Because wherever, in any room, even in the bathroom, wherever we go, we plug in the lights and it's like, I feel so happy. It's so simple to be so happy. And then we spiral into that, oh, but then, he never called me back. Or, damn, I tried getting 17 jobs and didn't work. I didn't get them. Now what? So you have a choice in the moment to stay with the stream that leads you toward happy. And once you do, then this week opens up another door to show you what's going on the inside even more, so that you can let go of that idea that struggle is karmic. It's not. That you, in your past lives, are now towing the line. You're doing something. You're carrying that crap with you, that baggage. Okay, well, you can reset. Just hit the reset button. And you say, yeah, I'm done. Done. When I did the dice this morning, the Astro dice, I was like, okay, show us. Show us universe. Oh, and then I want to get back to, what did I say? Oh, the difference between relief and gratitude. So, what does this week show us about this week and really moving past our resistance and our limiting thoughts? So I rolled Uranus, and Uranus rules Aquarius, and Uranus is in Taurus right now. So Uranus is, this is the issue. And excuse me, the issue in the dice is is the planet, or the sun and the moon. So the issue is humanitarianism, eclectic thinking, rebelliousness, moving beyond the chains that bind. And then the second roll is the sign, and I rolled a Sagittarius. So Uranus is the issue. You ready to get going and move on? Uranus and Taurus, conjuncting the moon. In Sagittarius, finding the truth, your truth. Sagittarius is the seeker of truth. It can be very cynical and damning on one end, or it's cultural, it's inclusive, it's exploratory, it's curious, it's, wow, this is so cool. I never knew that note could affect me. Playing on the piano could affect my feelings like that. What is that about? Let's go explore more. It's the downside of, that's never going to happen. The reason you can read me is because you looked me up on the internet. So there's the downside, which is cynical and does not trust. And then Sagittarius is the upside of the truth, finding your truth. And where does it take place? Third house of communication. Third house of communication. So what does that mean, this dice roll? It means communication doesn't start when you open your mouth and you start talking. It starts on the inside. Everything we just talked about. The beliefs that you have. The evidence that you need to support those beliefs. No, I'm right. Told you that would happen. Well, whatever you believe, you put out a vibration. That vibration carries momentum and speed and brings a stream of energy back to you. And that's how you manifest. So you look around, you want evidence of who you are, look at everything in your life, including who you are, how you feel, what you think, and what you believe. Because that's the generator. You are the generator. So that's where the communication comes from. And then what happens? Sometimes it feels like out of left field, right? Like something just hit you in the head. Oh, could have had a V8. Or why did that happen to me? I'm happy I donate at Christmas. You're driving your car and somebody rear ends you. Well, why? You want to go within. Nobody likes to have any kind of trauma. Who likes trauma unless you're a sadomasochist? And if you are, you're most likely not listening to me right now. So why does stuff happen? It's because your energy is doing something. And then it shows you evidence. It's like, well, you've been thinking about how much you hate your job, right? So why is it such a surprise that you either get a promotion to stay there and you're like, oh, sure, I know it. Because somewhere you believe that if I left this job that I hate, I'll never find another. Or you get fired or you get furloughed. And you think, yep, knew it. So you're always looking for evidence and you're creating that evidence. Aren't we silly sometimes? So communication is that first on the inside, and then it's the projection of. So Uranus is the radical acceptance that, oh my gosh, and Uranus is music, it's astrology, it's science, it's space, it's, oh my gosh, I matter because my matter is pure conscious love. Wow, what does that do to my religious beliefs? Wow, what does that do to my family? What if I decide that they're so anti-astrology and I'm just really tuned into it? What am I going to be ridiculed? And that is the Sagittarius. It's like, am I going to brave being me? Am I going to brave my truth? Well, I'm going to have to think about it. Communication. Third house. I'm going to have to think about it. I'm going to have to talk about it. I'm going to have to explore. I'm going to have to really see. Is it me? Is it true for me? Let me just check in. Hi. Okay. Oh, Gallet says, how do we learn how to decipher karmics, catalysts, and true twin flame soulmates? How do we cut the cord with karmics? By being in the present moment and saying, well, that's a lot of questions. So I'm just going to answer the last one first. You decipher karma by everything that shows up in your world. That is your karma. Because everything you put out, some part of you demands evidence of. And then there's you have a protocol and you have an agenda. And so in your strategy is, well, I want to start a new business. Let's say you're a painter and I'm going to make greeting cards. And I can sell them online. And I can sell them to major outlets like Costco. This will be fun. I don't know how, but I'm going to figure it out. And then you start painting the cards and you decide how much to charge and how long it takes. And you put those cards out and you don't get a lot of purchases. And then you thought, well, maybe I should talk to an expert. And then you talk to an expert. And everything you do is with the outcome of making money or being known for or feeling fulfilled by other people benefiting, right? So those are the three top categories. So you put something out into the world and it's not coming back the way you wanted. So then you turn around and go, well, I must be doing something wrong. And if I'm doing something wrong, how come I can't get past it? Well, let me just go read some Eckhart Tolle. Let me listen to Elaine. Let me get a reading. Let me pull some cards. Let me figure something out. Let me talk to a business manager. And so you figure out a way to then proceed. And then maybe you have a little success, maybe you have a lot of success, and then it's no longer fulfilling. Or you think, well, I did that, or it's not working out the way I want. And then somewhere along the line, you think, it just feels familiar. It feels like every time I try something new, I fail. Or every time I try to go out on my own, somebody pushes me back. Or every time, so when you start with every time I try to do this, or every time this happens, that's a part of you that starts to believe. If you're someone who already understands and acknowledges a spiritual path of spiral, where you are the same individual on this spiral. And whether you change clothes, attitudes, genders, bodies, lifetimes, this is you. And you just keep going around and around and around until you reach the epicenter, and then consciousness. Then you get it. But you have these moments along the way on this spiral. So if you turn the spiral facing forward, it just looks like a circle. But if you turn it on its side, you can see like, oh, there's depth, dimension, levels, awareness. 2 steps forward, 7 steps back, 20 steps forward, 5 steps back, right? So then some part of you will say, I must have done this before. Or someone says to you, that sounds karmic to me. And karma is nothing more than the action on the path. Now, maybe you being you have a preference for how you look. So every time you come back to this earth or you go somewhere else, and it's possible, there being beings that are humanoid, you might say, yeah, I like a certain color on the skin, or I like a certain kind of, accoutrement for the body. I like that. Or I'm attracted to that kind of person. So you pull these kinds of people toward you because of your preference, right? And that would be a karmic thing. But regardless of whether it's karmic or not, the catalyst, Galet, and everyone who's listening, the catalyst is how it makes you feel. If you are terrified, enlivened, fearful, so you want to go, wait, how do I feel? And we're always looking to feel better. We're always looking to feel productive. We're always looking to feel like we matter. And you do matter because your matter is pure conscious love. So every time you say or do or think something that puts you in a downward spiral, you might think it's karmic. You might think you're stuck. Then we look at the relief versus the gratitude. So here, how do we cut the cord to karma? Well, you're always going to be in a moment of action, even just sitting in the closet saying, nothing's going to find me, nothing's going to find me. But if you don't eat, you're going to get sick. Somebody's going to find you and put you in the hospital. That's karmic. It's your actions dictated the result. People who are not voting in America, and they're saying, why bother? My voice doesn't count. But yet they complain about the outcome. Well, that's karmic because that was you. So whatever you're doing is going to equal karma, but it's not necessarily positive, nor is it negative. And it doesn't have to repeat because every moment is a reset. Every lifetime is a reset. Every day is a reset. So the difference between relief and gratitude, to sum this up, is that relief is just made it. Woo, under the wire. Wow, don't know where that came from, but I was able to make that bill or get to that thing on time, or, they let me go early at work so I could get to the dentist because this thing was killing me. And wow, I'm so relieved. That's a crapshoot. Relief is a crapshoot because you don't trust. Gratitude is the framework. It's the actual architecture of who you are and what you're going to bring into your building, into your house, into your mind, your body, your soul, your spirit. Gratitude is conscious manifesting. I trust. Now, the bridge between I don't trust and I do trust is going from relief to gratitude. Right? Think about that. I think it was Einstein who said, I believe in a benevolent universe. And personally, so do I. And I believe that the universe is conspiring in your favor. If you don't believe that, then there will be moments of extreme struggle. And the more empathetic you are, the harder it is, because you look at that and go, oh my God. We started to watch a movie the other night, and I said to Dean, right now I'm just a little sensitive. Maybe it's a full moon week in Taurus, and I'm a Taurus. Maybe it's that. Who knows? Maybe it's the fact that it's, I'm tapped into people's akashics. And so I see, I remember one time in Banff, I gave a talk, and there was a lineup of people just to meet and greet. Literally, the line went out the door. And I'm looking to my left, and there was a moose outside. This is the most bizarre, exciting reality I have created. And so a person would come to me, and I would say, hello, thank you for listening to my talk. And we would chat a little bit, and I would see I was so open, I could see their entire lineage. And interestingly enough, little sidebar here, we are in a retrograde. Let's indulge. So a man came to me, and he said, I have this issue with health. And I looked at him and I said, oh, wow. First of all, let's get this guy a chair. And he sat down. He was very tall. So even if he sat, as he sat, I could still see him eye to eye. And I said, you come from the line of Charlemagne. And I see it clearly. And the issue is your reluctance to be in your body, because you're taking on the people's woes. Whoa. You don't need to do that. You can stop that. And another woman, I look at her, and, and it was just like 100 people. It was over 100 people came to me. And after that, I didn't know where I was. Dean was like, oh, this woman said to me, I don't know my real name because I was adopted. And I went, yeah. And I said, so the fear you have now is the fear from the original family, which was actually a mafioso family from Italy. And she went, how did you know that? Because then I found out that this one happened and this thing happened, and then there was murder, and there was a blah, blah. And I was like, you don't have anything to fear. It's like saying, because I have the same blood, I'm going to commit the same crime. You don't have that. So what do you want to do? She wanted to be a teacher. So it's like that. And then after this for so many people, I have seen the woes of humanity. And after it was over, Dean said, oh, you want to go back to the room? And I said, I don't know where I am. He said, no, we just go down there, we go to the right. And I looked at him and I went, no, I don't know where I am. I was tumbling through time and space through all these people's, karmic information, and letting them know they could just let it go now. You don't have to carry the sack of crap. Who wants a sack of crap? Nobody. You can let it go now. And I'm telling that to you too. You can let it go now. And some people really, we love stories. We're storytellers from way back, since we got to this earth. So we love to and then we reminisce and we're like, yeah. And I remember hearing it too. It's like, your Uncle Pete walked 3 miles in the snow to get you milk one winter, because your father worked at night and he was sleeping during the day, and you cried because you had colic. And it's like, whoa, I grew up thinking, what a pain in the ass I was. And I caused so much trouble for so many people because I had colic and I cried for 7 months. What I was actually saying was, I don't want to be here. That's what my 7-month colic stint was all about. I don't want to be here because, whoa, wait a second. I realized what I did. Oh no, there's no going back now. That's what I did. So I had stomach issues for a lot of my life because it was reinforced. You came in with underdeveloped stomach. You came in with an underdeveloped stomach. You came in with an underdeveloped. You cried. Couldn't feed you. You were starving all the time. You were starving. What was my main issue up until about 10 years ago? Chronic dieter. I starved myself all the time. So then when I got, clear on, wait a second, wait a minute. It's like an unconscious thing because you're just doing it every day. Every day you do your thing. You're like, that's what I want. So I'm going to go for it. It's not working. I'm going to go that way. I'm going to go around it. I'm going to give up. And you say, oh, it's karmic. You know what it is? It's a constant belief that is reinforced by the people in your life that help to reinforce your belief. So you can say no to these things. You know, if you have children or you have grandchildren and they walk into a room and they don't know the people, what do people say? Oh, she's really shy. Maybe she's not shy. She's just little and she doesn't know these people. Yeah, we don't want to start putting labels on people. Oh, she's really shy. Oh, that one, he's crazy. Okay. Oh. Okay, he's your baby. Does that make sense? Christine says, the gorilla artist dude was right. You have lovely expressive hand. Thank you. You're so sweet. Hey, Kate, you needed my wisdom. What about your wisdom? Let's hear about your wisdom. You have wisdom. You have plant knowledge because it's karmic. And it really is. Does that make sense? Whee! So this particular full moon in Taurus, when we look at, and we had the question, what do Tauruses have in store? It depends on what you believe. Ultimately, Tauruses are going to open wide and let go of a sorrow that has been holding them back because of the reflection of what they don't like. So any Taurus out there, sun, rising, or moon, who is looking in the mirror and says, I'm not enough, or I must have been wrong, or it's never going to work, or I'm so tired of this, fill in the blank. This is a good time to let it go. This is a good time to say, I am more than I think I am. And I'm going to nurture and nourish myself. And this applies to everyone, especially Scorpio, sun, rising, and moon, Taurus, sun, rising, and moon, Aquarius, sun, rising, and moon, Leo, sun, rising, and moon. Okay? These are the angles that are going to feel it the most. But everybody's going to feel it. Because if you think of the numerical calculations and possibilities of anyone being any combination of Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo, sun, rising, and moon, that covers about half the planet. And the rest of you, you're going to be there to hand us a tissue. I'm going to pull a card for everybody. Oh, hey, I forgot. A little housekeeping. New time since, and I posted this in Instagram. I will also post on Facebook. The majority of the planet uses daylight savings time, except for Arizona, China, Russia, parts of Guam. I think it's Guam. Anyway, I'll post it. So because you might be moving back, you're going to fall back. Arizona stays right where it is. So because of that, and because of my work schedule, we are going to move the Facebook Lives only in winter, and then in summer it'll change back to what it is now. But I will be here Monday and Thursday, same days, unless something comes up on those days. But Monday and Thursday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. Early risers, grab a cup of something. 12:30 p.m. Eastern time and 5:30 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So I'm just switching it a half an hour so that for me, it'll be 10:30 in the morning. That's Mountain Time. But we are on Arizona time, not a Mountain Time, really. So does that make sense? Does that help? Give me a thumbs up. I really would appreciate if you share, like, comment, subscribe if you're on YouTube, ring the little bell to be notified of when I post and when I upload some new material. And I will be back on, what is Monday's date anyway? Oh, the 2nd of November. Can you believe it? It's November already. I'll be back on the 2nd, and we're going to talk more about the upcoming eclipses and what to expect, because we're already feeling it for some of us. And this moon conjunct Uranus is really going to help us to open wide a new belief system. Let go of the old, make way for the new. Here come the eclipses. Da 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 da. Okay, one card for the road. Okay, it fell. This is the one. Oh, I like this one. What were we just talking about? Look in the mirror, right? What's your reflection? What's the reflection? What is your reflection? What does it say? Your reflection is not just in the mirror, although that is the primary focus. But when you look at what you bring into your world, what you experience, what you might call random. Oh, I can't believe I bumped into somebody on the road and this happened, and then they helped me out, and then I found out this, and la la la. It's like, what a coincidence. A coincidence is some part of you energetically has a stream of light moving out, and then some part of somebody else has that same stream. And so what happens is you come to a crossroads and you meet. Now, whether it's for positive, negative, or neutral reasons, that's up to the two of you, right? So I want you to say that whatever happens in your life, or understand that whatever happens in your life, if you're needing some more empowerment right about now, that this reflection of evidence that you see in your world, what comes into your world, if you're feeling disempowered, I want you to start finding your truth by thinking something a little bit more radical than a negative. And that is, everything in my world is there because of me. And you might think, well, I never asked to be controlled financially, or I never asked to be abandoned or ignored, or any of the litany of reasons that we get sad or feel sorrow. I never asked to lose my job. I never asked for this. Consciously, you may not have asked, but unconsciously and non-consciously, there's some part of you that believes you deserve it, or it's true. I know that's harsh. That feels like a harsh reality when you look at people who are suffering on the street, or children, animals, abuse. You just think, well, they're not asking for it. Nobody's asking consciously for pain or struggle. This is an unconscious thing, and this is the door that's going to open. So look at your world and say, I am responsible for every reflection. I am responsible for everything. I am the magnet for everything in my world. So that gives you a little bit of power to say, well, if I'm responsible for it unconsciously, then consciously, wait a second, I think I could do something to alter it or to expand it if it's something you love. Make sense? All right. Hey, Georgiana. Hey, G, how are you? Love catching you live. Truly needed to hear you today. Thank you. Well, on behalf of the Marilacuses in the world whose names are spelled differently, we're all one. I salute you. So I think it's really important that no matter what you're doing, no matter what your sun, moon, or rising sign is, or what you think your karma is, that remember that you have this moment to reset. Every single moment you have to reset. And if you are dehydrated, I'm going to say this so many times, like I say to my kid, if you're dehydrated, if you are eating way too much sugar, and that can be pasta, rice, actual sugar, desserts, cookies, crackers, sweets. Let's look at keto. Let's look at monk fruit. Let's look at fiber sweeteners that do not raise blood sugar. Because once you get that under control, you have less extreme emotions. And then you look at, how can I nourish myself a little bit more? How can I nurture myself a little bit more? And you might be thinking, oh, there's like a pile of dishes I got to get to, but you just got a new book from the library. And you're like, remember what I used to tell Geminis, now I'm going to tell everybody. I'm done. it's not done. So if you're done, you need to honor that moment. You're toast, you're tired, you're exhausted, you're angry. You're going to fuel it by doing something you don't want to do. It's so simple. So now I know if you've got a lot of kids or you're in a position where you don't have a lot of help, that what you can do in the moment really is focus your mind on something that gives you joy, something that makes you laugh, something that makes you feel a little bit freer. And the more you can just inch your way toward that incrementally, if it was a centimeter, like, oh, I love that song, it reminded me of the time. Great. Listen to it again. Make it louder. Raise it above the din of the kids screaming. As you clean the kitchen, cook, and try to rally them and get them all, to bed at this decent hour. Whatever is happening, you can calm it down through nutrition, through thoughts, through clean, healthy water, and just this attitude of, I trust my needs are met. My needs are met, my needs are met, my needs are met. Universe will show you the how. And sometimes the universe is me reminding you, tap on the shoulder. Sometimes it's a neighbor. Sometimes it's a phone call, a text, an email. Sometimes it's a flyer you get in the mail. Hey, new pottery class. We're opening our doors, 6 feet apart, but we're doing. It's like, yes, do it. We ordered a tricycle, an adult trike. We can't wait for it to come. I can't wait to get out there on an adult trike. I got a helmet. I got a little bell. I have 7 gears. I'm ready to go. I will be back. New time. Same day, same bat time, same bat channel. No, same bat channel, different time. 9:30 Pacific starting next week because we in Arizona do not change our clocks. But the rest of the world is time traveling. I want you to remember that everything that exists in your world is there because of you. So look at the things that make you smile and just keep looking at them because the rest of the stuff eventually will minimize. And then when you feel ready because you're in a better mood, clue, then you can look at the paperwork that has to get done, the bills that have to get made, the emails that have to get answered, the papers that have to get graded, the diapers that have to get changed, whatever. It's a choice. Be present. Be sparkly. Thank you for being. I'll see you again next week, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, or 5:30 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. All right, folks. Thanks for being here. See you again. And happy Samhain to all of those who celebrate, and happy Halloween. Monk fruit.